So Lonzo's under contract for 18-19 for $7.5 million. Then let's assume the Lakers are going to take their options, of course, right? So 19-20, 8.7. 2021, he's making $11 million. Now we get to 21-22. They make him an offer of $14.4 million. That's his qualifying offer. And at that point, he can just take that offer and stay for 1 year, or they can make what's called a max qualifying offer, which is what they did with Jimmy Butler. And now he can turn it away, and he can still take that 1 year, but it's a lot of freaking money. And so they can bump that offer up. Instead of doing 14, they could just say, we'll pay you the max outright. So it's a lot of money they'd be turning away, like a ridiculous amount of money. Enough that we don't even know if the younger Ball brothers are anywhere near NBA talent. The middle one, there's a lot of skepticism. The younger one has that potential, but when the time comes, we have no idea.
He's 16 years old.
Right. So we're talking, we don't know how good the Big Baller brand does, right? It sounds good right now on paper, but if he's getting like a 200 or 100 and something million dollar offer from the Lakers, they're going to turn that down because of this thing. I don't know. And at the same time, he can take $14 million and leave. So the earliest that he can leave on his own recognizance is in 2022, turning down that giant contract that the Lakers might offer him. So we've been covering LaVar since when, Josh? When have you been on how long have you been on Lonzo Wire?
Since September.
Right. Not a very long time. And there's been big headline after big headline.
Some of which you at Bleacher Report have helped to facilitate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But how many headlines are there going to be before 2021, 2022?
Like, a lot, I guess.
How many? Can we say we know where LaVar Ball is going to stand on things in that year? And we don't. I mean, he might have a totally different picture in a year, and then in another year, and then in another. It's so far down the line. Now, I do think that the Lakers recognize that the father is a headache, but they really like the player. So I don't think that it matters, right? I don't think it really matters. If he is not the player that they want him to be, then they'll make different decisions. If he's everything they hope he'll be, they're going to keep him, and they're not going to worry about all this nonsense. Now, it's headlines, it's clickbait, it's fun, and I like I said, I have a lot of respect for what LaVar is doing, and I've enjoyed talking to him. So this is not picking on LaVar. I got no problem with LaVar. Just don't necessarily believe everything like it's like some gospel, and they don't have to make any sort of decisions. Now, as far as his sons, like his son would be, his oldest was at UCLA, so he'll be eligible in the draft in a few months.
Yes.
So no matter what, he's in the draft. I think LaVar at some point said you don't have to go through the draft or something like that. The reality is they have to go through the draft, but they probably go undrafted, or at least the middle son does. Right? D'Angelo. So if he goes undrafted, which I would expect, the Lakers can try him out if they want, maybe in the summer league. I don't have a problem with it.
We've seen nepotism play a part in summer league before.
Yeah, they even tried. They gave Ron Artest's brother Daniel an audition back in the Ron Artest days. So it's not out of the question. I mean, that's a different regime. But look, the Lakers do need shooters, and maybe he is somebody who would help them, and there is a chemistry. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it. If there's a basketball reason to do it, to me, summer league is as good a place as any to just let him be on the roster, try it out. Yeah. Who knows?
It is an interesting situation. I know the Lakers, like you said, they don't have to act on anything LaVar says. They're not obligated by any means, and they're not going to.
Right.
They're going to treat Lonzo as the player, and LaVar is another parent. He just happens to have more of a microphone, or a megaphone in this case, but he doesn't run the front office. He doesn't have influence over the front office. And as far as LaMelo is concerned, like LaMelo isn't draft eligible till 2020. So a lot can happen between now and then. They're not going to be making contingency plans for the future based on what LaVar Ball threatens right now. Now, from my perspective, maybe this is a way for LaVar to drum up some sort of market for LiAngelo in some way.
Right.
And maybe I had some people on Twitter suggest this to me. I'm not sure how much I believe it, but that he's talked about that money doesn't really matter to them. That LiAngelo will have him play for $1 million over 3 years. I wonder, does that apply to Lonzo too? If it's a situation where it's not just stick, where say, hey, you better bring my boys in here or we're leaving, but it's also the carrot of, well, Lonzo could stay at a discount. We'll give you the other two brothers in some respect at a discount. If that then becomes worth it to the Lakers to give them some flexibility.
Well, if Lonzo wants to come back for the minimum and you have to eat up 2 roster spots for the kids, the brothers, yeah, sure. I mean, there's ways that it can make sense. And if LaVar is really serious about it, then make it work. But it seems kind of all, being how far off it is, like, there is a decision point if the Lakers want to stay in this ball business when it comes to July, when it comes to putting together a summer league team. Unless they want to draft, assuming they don't want to draft him, right? They have, I think, the Nuggets pick in the second round. They don't have their own, but they have the Nuggets pick, right? So they have the Cavs pick in the first round. They have the Nuggets pick in the second, right?
Yes, because they owe their own first rounder to Orlando.
Right, that's part of the Dwight Howard trade. In this case, this is actually the Randy Foye, Kirk Heinrich, Jose Calderon trade. So it's a well-traveled pick.
Yeah, no
yes,
kidding.
It's in 3 different trades, but they have the Nuggets pick because of that. So the Nuggets, I don't know where they stand today, but let's say that they're right smack in the middle. Like let's say they're right around the playoff team. So if it's 46, right where they got Clarkson, so can they do it again? And if you're going to try to do it again and steal someone at 46, is it going to be a ball brother when maybe you can just, if he doesn't get drafted, then his father's basically going to say he's only going to sign with the Lakers. So you don't have to draft him, and I don't think any team's going to draft him. If he gets drafted, there's nothing the Lakers can do about it, nothing LaVar can do about it. Although technically he doesn't have to sign too, right? So there's some recourse he has. So I would recommend the Lakers do not draft the Ball brother. Invite him to the summer league team just for fun. Why not? If it makes sense. It doesn't. I don't think it hurts anything unless they want to feel. If they don't want to feel like maybe that's something they would have done had LaVar not put an ultimatum out.
Maybe. And
now by doing it, they look weak, and maybe they don't want to. Maybe him just putting that out there is why they don't pick up his son.
Maybe
that's a possibility.
If it ends up being that he cut off his nose to spite his face.